Yes, good people, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of work on this Squier Vintage Modified Jazzmaster. I recently purchased this off Reverb for £110 with shipping. She needs quite a bit of work. There is issues with the bridge pickup. There is no rhythm circuit, it's been taken out. The lead circuit has been upgraded. I'll get into that a little bit later on. The bridge has got a Mustang barrel bridge on, which is for a 7.25 inch radius, and this is a 9.5 inch radius neck, so that ain't gonna sit right. And somebody decided to sand off the decal on the headstock and take the gloss tint off the back. So we're gonna have a little run through it, see what we can do with it, get it back up and running, sort out a bridge pickup. I'm not too worried about the rhythm circuit, so as long as we can get that lead circuit working and she's playing some cool tunes, I'll be quite happy. We'll have to give it a full setup, clean the fingerboard, replace the strings, that kind of stuff. So if that's something you want to hang around for, make sure you stay tuned. First job is removing the strings, and as we got vintage tuners, we ain't even got to cut them. Just slacking them off and then pretty much pull straight out. Okay, so a bit of backstory on the guitar. The guy I bought it off, he's basically had this from new. He's been gigging with it since 2015, so he's had a bit of a hard life. Where these decals been sanded off, I've also sanded off the serial number, but it's a rosewood fingerboard, and these come out in what, 2011, 2012 if I remember rightly. So they stopped putting rosewood fingerboards on these in, I think it's 2018, so yeah, I'd probably say 2015 or a bit earlier. That's where we're looking at with this. She is definitely a bit beat up. The body's got chips all over it. There's wear. Looks pretty cool. In terms of the frets, yeah, there's a little bit of wear on the normal cordage area. Not a lot going on up here, but yeah, good little base to sort of guitar out, little project. Like I say, the trouble with these Mustang barrel bridges, I remember Andertons at one point used to advertise these to sell with these Mustangs, and they're the wrong radius, so your high and your low E strings will never set the action right. They'll be too low, so we're getting rid of that. These bridges float, which I don't like, so when I replace them I put electrical tape round and that wedges them into place. Oh, a couple more screws. Yeah, the rhythm circuit is completely gone. The switches ain't even there. But like I say, I'm not bothered about that. I did have a little play around with this the other day just to see what's up with it, because the pickups were completely disconnected. So I'll give you a little close up. Okay, so when I got this guitar, these pickups weren't connected. Some of the cables had been cut on them, so I quickly just soldered some bits together. The ground that goes to the bridge was cut off and there's hardly any left, so I just quickly put some extra wire on just to join it all together. I joined the grounds together on the pickups. Not the ideal way to do it, but yeah, I was just seeing what was actually working. This pickup works, this bridge pickup don't work. Right, so this is the description from the listing on Reverb. This was the first electric guitar I ever bought and has been gigged solidly from 2015 until now. It's a wicked instrument. I do my best to look after my equipment, however some cosmetic knocks and paint chips are to be expected. This guitar had electronic upgrade from James, home of tone. This has dramatically improved the electronic value and removed the pointless rhythm circuit. I also sanded and oiled the neck and it feels great. Right, so yeah, in terms of the condition of the guitar, it is what it is. I can't quite see the values on these pots. It's got a 0.022 capacitor. But yeah, the soldering on it is pretty bad. It's got a fancy output socket. He did tell me the brand of that. I can't remember. Apparently that's a pure tone output socket. But yeah, I really can't see the values of them pots. But anyway, we're going to roll with that. I'm going to disconnect this bridge pickup completely. Tidy this ground off because the ground wire from the pickup on the neck pickup is being snipped, so I'm going to tidy that up. The little extension I did on the ground should be okay, because these, I've tried to get this one out. I've tried to get this little ferrule out from the bridge and it is absolutely rammed in there. They're a pain to get out, so that is staying there. Just notice there's a little crack around the neck pocket there. Yeah, we should be good. It's an old beat guitar. Right, so I'll show you what I've got to put in here. Okay, so for a bridge, I've actually got a genuine vintage modified Jaguar Jazzmaster bridge. So that's already got the electrical tape on it. That just pops straight in. We'll have to set it up and what have you. For a pickup, I don't know if anybody remembers, last year I did a Telecaster, an orange Telecaster with P90 pickups in it. This is the leftover of the wiring loom. But I'm going to nick the bridge pickup off this, and from my memory, where I've modified a Squier Jazzmaster before, these pickup covers do fit on them P90 pickups, so yeah, that's going to go in the bridge position. Right, so I'm going to start taking all this apart, tidy up some of this soldering, and then we'll solder this bridge pickup into the Jazzmaster. Alright, so we need to get that one off. And that one out the way. And then on this wiring loom, I need the blue one. Okay, so that can go. So we've got the pickup, we've got that one disconnected. Obviously I'm going to have to sort that ground out. Let's get this pickup out of the way. Right, the screws on these pickups are always an absolute pain to get off. They use the cheapest metal going and they are in tight. So you need to make sure you get a really good fitting screwdriver, push down on it while unscrewing it. I've taken a lot of these apart and quite a few have rounded out along the way. That one looks very rounded off. So we could have a problem with that one. It might fight us a bit. And these covers are, and these pickups are spring loaded, so it does sometimes help to take the slack off that. It's coming. That one's coming out now. I'm going to leave the worst till last. Yeah, these are well rounded off. I've actually think I've got another set of these screws, so these ones hopefully won't be going back in. Yeah, this one rounded off, but luckily it was far enough out I can get the pliers on it. So this one definitely won't be going back in. And pesky screws. Yeah, she's rounded off good. Right, that's that pickup out of the way. Well, no wonder that didn't work. That was the grounding wire on the body. There's the ground for the pickup. Oh, there you go. Actually wondering, no, that's definitely the ground for that pickup. So that was why that one didn't work. That's actually repairable. Right, I may still try that because these Duncan design pickups, especially a bridge, does sound pretty naff. So I may give this one a try. If it don't sound brilliant, at least we've got the original pickup. That's repairable. I just got to strip that little bit of wire back there and put some more wire on it. So if anybody wants to know the part number of these Duncan designed pickups, it's JM101B ADWH. Fun and games. I also need to get that cover off. These are probably glued in. Right, so I was looking for my stash. I have found some screws that may work. One of them definitely. So I've at least got one that I rounded off that I could put back in. So until I get some new screws, that'll have to do. I did see a wire poking out there, which I believe to be another ground under there that's been cut. Again, rounding these screws off, that one is nearly gone. So for now, we'll have to leave that ground off under there, solder that back on. It should be okay. I will extend this and solder that on. But yeah, I'm not taking that pickup off today. I ain't risking that. So let's try and get these pickup covers off and see if we can swap them over. I'm pretty sure the pole pieces line up with the holes. So yeah, we should be good there. Okay, that's that one out. I have actually got another pickup cover. If I can't get it out, oh, there we go. And there we go. She is out. So if anybody wants to know the difference between a P90 and a Jazzmaster pickup, that's the difference. Pretty much the same pickups in principle, but these are very squished single coils. So let's see. Yes, fits good. I'll ding dang do. I may need to stick a little blob of glue on the underside of this, but that should do for what we need. And I'll also need to stick a bit of foam on the underside as well. Oh yeah, we're getting there. And for those with the eagle eyes, these P90s had the screws in them. I knew I had some more of these somewhere. So I've got 4 screws to replace that whole set, and these are pretty clean. So I've taken the sponge off the bottom of that Duncan design pickup, which has got the springs in it. So I'm gonna put this pickup in now, and then we can start soldering it all together. That ground wire is going to join onto there. I will solder that together. So yeah, let's get this screwed down. Just keep an eye where the original holes were. They should be lined up pretty good. And again, just be careful not to round these minty fresh screws. Make sure you push down on the springs just to make it a little bit easier to screw these in. I will adjust these pickups when I'm setting it up. So I've extended some of these grounding wires. I'm just going to solder that on now, as it's a complete mess on here. Kind of have to do. the best what we can. I don't want to put too much heat on these pots, if I'm honest, because they look like they've been massacred. Right, so that's the ground for the neck pickup, ground for the bridge pickup, the ground that goes to the body, all onto that pot. I've got the hot and the ground on the bridge pickup. The ground's going to go in the middle, the hot's going to go on this end one. Again, it's a bit of a mess on here, so do what we can. Alright, let's get the hot for the selector switch on. Alright, that's that on. Right, that's that on. Just tighten this up a bit more. Okay, so I do believe we are all soldered together. It's a bit of a mess at the minute, but we'll tidy that up in a bit. So I'm just going to quickly check the electrics actually work. And if they do, I'll tidy all that up after. Right, so we've got it plugged in. So neck, middle, bridge, straight, volume, tone works. Put a bit of distortion on, but nothing's buzzing, so that's pretty good. So I think I'm just going to have a quick tidy up under there, then we can screw that back on, and that is the electrics done. So far it's kind of gone to plan. Just putting the last couple of screws in now. I tidied the electrics up under there. Right, so that's the pick guard back on. I think what we should do now is start cleaning up the neck, clean up the body, and then we're good to put strings on. Right, so regular viewers to the channel will know I like using baby wipes on rosewood fingerboards. It definitely gets a lot of the dirt off and also adds a bit of moisture into the wood fibres, because this is pretty damn dirty. Okay, so that was a lot of dirt on that fingerboard, as you can see. Right, so next thing, fine sanding block. This is about an 800 grit. Just get the layer of grime off the frets. Like I say, these frets are a little bit worn, they're not too bad. I'm not going to go mad crowning them and all that malarkey. This will be more than good enough as is. And then for anybody worried about metal filings getting on my pickups, there's hardly anything come off that, and if there is, you simply wipe it off. Right, now a bit of lemon oil to give this rosewood a nice bit of nourishment. Put a bit of life back into it. This may take a couple of coats. It's just a shame Squier don't use rosewood anymore because of that CITES thing that went on about, what was it now, 5 or 6 years ago. And I think it is actually legal to use rosewood again, but as you can imagine, the prices have gone through the roof. But yeah, I do like a bit of rosewood. Right, so I'm going to let that soak in for a few minutes. Like I said, this is probably going to need a couple of coatings. Let's go over there. the maple as well. Now this guitar, I might keep this as an ongoing project, and then we'll do something with this headstock. I may colour code it or something, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I really don't like the look of that headstock with nothing on it. So while the lemon oil's doing its job, let's get a little bit of Mr. Sheen on it. And clean all the body up and all the hardware and stuff. Like I say, this is definitely lived a life, so it's never going to be A1 minty fresh, but we can make it look pretty snazzy. Don't even want to know what that red stuff was. We'll just move on. We'll move past that. That should do the job. You can see there is a few little dings on it, a little chip on that side. All in all, so that's pretty cool. It's all part of the history of the guitar. Bit of natural patina. And while we're at it, we'll work down the neck and the headstock and stuff. Yeah, it's going to need another coat of lemon oil. Alright, so that's the neck and the body all cleaned up. All looking good. There is a bit of wear to the rosewood, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Right, so let's get the straight edge on, see what we're dealing with. Okay, so it has got a little bit of a bow in the middle. Yeah, I need to straighten that up a little bit. Probably needs about half a turn. For this one, normally I use 9 gauge on 25.5 inch scale, but I've got these only bought irregular slinkies 10 to 46, so we're going to go with them just so we can bite in a little bit harder when we're playing. Isn't that one? Oh, that's good. Right, let's give it a bit of a turn and see what happens. Right, I think that'll do. So our neck is looking pretty good. So next up, we're going to put the strings on. Right, so I'll quickly show you how to string these vintage tuners again. Right, so you pull the string all the way through the bridge. So we're going to be stringing up that tuner. So what I do is count 1, 2 above, there, snip that off, and then we put the string down the shaft, bend it over, twist it round, pull it tight, make sure the string goes under that little lip there, and then just holding the string down on the headstock, and I sort of like pull the string back up with my fingers just over the fingerboard, and that is pretty much how you do it. 3 more to go, and when you get to the last one, so say like your string sticking over there, just pull it back down, count 2, and you still know you've got to snip that off, then when you pull it up, that'll fit. Simple as that. So now we've got all the strings on, time to set the guitar up. We're going to start with a neck relief, do the string height, and then adjust the intonation. Now, neck relief, I've done it so many times I can do it by feel, but normally you have a capo on the 1st fret, and then hold down the 1st fret where it meets the body, and the 8th fret you want about 0.03 millimeters I know by feel that is pretty much perfect, so we can move on to string height. And I've done plenty of videos of setting guitars up, so I'll put a link in the description, or just watch my last video. Pretty much the same process for similar guitars. So on the high E string and the low E string, that's where I set my string height. So the low E string, I want it about 1.5 millimeters. That's the gap from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. So on Jaguars, Jazzmasters and Mustangs, you have these little holes either side of the bridge. That's where you put your Allen key in to adjust it. So if you turn it clockwise, it raises the bridge. If you do it anti-clockwise, it lowers the bridge. So yeah, if you just do the outside strings, if these saddles are made for, say, like a 9.5-inch fingerboard, the radius should be the same all the way around. I've had this bridge on another guitar before, so I know that that is set correctly. So on the high E side, we need to go up a little bit as well, just a smidge. That's pretty much there. So every time you make an adjustment, just make sure you tune the guitar back up and check it again. Should ding dong do. Yep. Just a smidge more on that high E. So we set the neck relief, we set the string height, now we're moving on to intonation. So make sure your guitar's in tune, and then you've got to go through all the strings one by one. So on the low E, that's in tune, and then the 12th string, which is the octave of the E, you need to get that to be in tune as well. So this needs to adjust back a little bit. So to adjust these, you get little screws on the back of the bridge there, and then you tighten them or loosen them, whatever way you need to go. In between, make sure you keep tuning up your guitar, and then keep adjusting them until both the open and the octave are in tune together. So I'm going to go through all of these, and then we move up to pickup height. What I generally like to do is start on the bridge pickup, and then you need it plugged in, obviously. I like to have the pickup as close to the strings as I can before they start magnetizing. So when you strum the string, when you've got them too close, the string will start pulling towards the magnets. And then once we got that one right, the neck pickup is basically a case of leveling out the sound. So you'll have a certain volume from that, say, bridge pickup. When you move to the neck pickup, if it's too quiet or too loud compared to the bridge, then you adjust that pickup accordingly to get a level sound. But on a Jazzmaster, it's a bit complicated adjusting the pickups, so you've got 4 screws, so you need to make sure you raise them evenly. But I always have the treble side a little bit higher than the bass side. So yeah, once we sorted that out, we're pretty much good to plug her in. Alright, so we've got her all tuned up now. We're plugged into my little workshop amp, which is a Line 6 Spider 4 15 watt. So I'm going to go for the neck, both pickups, bridge pickup on its own, just to give you a little idea what it sounds like. So there you go, we brought back to life this Squier Vintage Modified Jazzmaster. She needed a bit of work. We put a new pickup in there, new strings, gave it a tune up and a little freshen up, and she is playing as good as new. I must admit, it actually set up pretty decent. The neck on these vintage modified guitars are pretty much the same as a classic vibe, so they're always a good feeling neck. It does feel a little bit more like an Affinity now because somebody sanded off the gloss finish, but nevertheless still plays great. Love rosewood fingerboard. That P90 sounds pretty bitey. That does sound good, and with the upgraded electrics, it's definitely an improvement over the original wiring. I know it's missing the rhythm circuit, but yeah, that Duncan design pickups definitely come to life because these normally sound pretty bland. So what I might do is fix the other pickup, but for something else. But this one, this P90, I think sounds pretty darn good. So yeah, that'll probably wrap up for today. If you enjoyed the little project guitar video, please give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and make sure you set your notifications to all, because you will miss videos. YouTube make it hard now. But yeah, you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, The Guitar Manifesto, and I'll catch you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Guitar Manifesto.